Jersey, stand the up. Okay, we are about to review and recap the second to last episode of season 14, episode 12 of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. This episode is entitled Don't Trial This at Home. Okay, let's get into it. Hey y'all, what's going on? It is BarbMeetsWorld, and we are back again to recap and review this week's episode, I should say, of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Like I said, season 14, episode 12, which just so happens to be the second to last episode. So we're gonna be reeling it in, I guess, this upcoming Sunday. I don't know if that means that we're getting this table showdown, and then I guess the following episode will be the reaction, or if I don't know if we're getting that simultaneously. I don't know, y'all. Probably, yeah. I want to say there's got to be at least 14 episodes, so I'm gonna say, yeah, next week is the finale, and then the following week will be them reacting to said finale. Anyway, y'all, don't forget to hit that like button for your girl. It helps me and my channel in terms of the algorithm. It helps me attract new subscribers such as yourself. So go ahead, hit that button for me, please, and thank you. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I don't know what you're waiting for, but go ahead, hit that subscription button, become a Barb's babe, because we have a really good time over here. And shout outs to anybody who is going to catch this in the replay after the premiere. Let me know what you guys think in those comments below. I would love to know your thoughts, opinions. We're getting down to the wire here, so just you can actually give me your thoughts on the season up until now as well in the comments. Just I want to hear it all. Okay, the good, the bad, the ugly. Give it to me straight. We get down in the comments. Also, share me with all your folks. I think that is all the housekeeping. So let's run it. Ooh, actually, I need to upload this picture real quick. Oh, I'm so mad at myself that I forgot to upload this one picture. Okay, cool. Got that uploaded. So let's roll. So this episode begins with the Fudas. We pop in on them. We got the whole family. And Juliana, which is their youngest, she is 3 years old. Yes, she's 3 years old, I believe. And we know that she had it was a tongue tie and something else. I don't remember. But after she got that procedure, her gross motor skills, her development, everything is just very much on par. She is, hitting her milestones, and Rachel, of course, and the whole family are so proud of her, so happy. This is exactly what we wanted to happen, because the doctor actually said that oftentimes kids will, once they have these procedures, they will pick up the pace as far as their early childhood development. So we love to see it. She's so cute saying her words. She's like, boo, like literally melted my heart, y'all. Literally melted my heart. And Rachel even says that she stood up by herself, which she caught on camera, which, oh my gosh, I'm not a parent yet, so I can't say that I can empathize, but I definitely understand where she's coming from when you just, see something blossom that you wanted to see blossom for so long. So I love to see it. And I also love seeing the girls with their older brother. I think they love them, some of their older brother, honey. And I just love the bond that they share, because obviously there's a huge age gap, but it's just so sweet just seeing them, cuddled up to him and stuff. I love their bond. I love their bond for real. So then we pan over to Jennifer Aydin. At first we see her and Bill and their two daughters. They share like a little funny moment or whatever. You know, Olivia, she turns into a total ham in front of the camera. So she, of course, was capturing our attention for a minute. And then once the daughters excused themselves, Jennifer sat down with Bill, who, is this when he said that he had just got out of surgery after 6 hours? I was like, see, life of a plastic surgeon, I am not built for that. Like, I can only imagine. Whew. Anyway, they sit down and chat, and she tells him about the, you know, the adult slumber no slumber party that we had last week at Rachel's. That was actually really cute and turned out really well. There was no arguing, there was no fighting, none of that. No drama, no antics. So that is a success, at least to me, in the game of Housewives, right? So she's telling him how she told all them that she'd be milking his prostate, and I just feel like that was TMI, but whatever. So apparently Joe Gorga sent out a group text inviting all of them over for a guys' night. And Bill, which Joe had already actually touched on this, because you know how we get those little 2-second clips during, you know, the opening of scenes and stuff like that. Yeah, we had seen a clip of Joe saying that Bill claimed that he is going to be in surgery on that Friday night when they're supposed to have this guys' night. And he called total BS right then and there. And it's actually good that he called BS, because Bill literally was BSing. And the reason why he was BSing is because Louis, you know, actually, let me roll the clip. Yeah, that Louis. Yeah, he decided to have a guys' night too on that night. And of course, we know that because their women are, you know, buddy, Louis and Bill are now, you know, super buddy. So he opted to go over there instead. But instead of just telling him that, he decided to lie, which I feel like is just stupid, but whatever. And apparently, I guess so to be like Paulie, because he also is over there with them too, which I think maybe personalities, of course, but I also think it has something to do with maybe because they both came in, they're both newer. Maybe no, because then John, I don't know. Just scratch that. Act like I didn't say that. Anyway, so Jennifer also calls Nate a little boy, which I'm just like, she loves to just throw that word out there. And I want Danielle to eat your ass up again. I really do. I really hope that we see that. I hope she still keeps coming for you. And you guys can say I'm childish. You guys can say that I like to keep up drama. But at the end of the day, we all have some type of even if it's the slightest attraction to drama, because we're all watching this. So clearly we like to see the dramatics sometimes. But I hope that Danielle doesn't get her foot off of Jennifer's neck, because that was just unnecessary. And I feel like the only reason why she said that is because, yeah, that's Danielle's husband. And Nate hasn't given us any reason to look at him weird, or you can't even say that he's be getting in women's business or anything like that, because the only time he has said anything about anything was when you, Jennifer Aydin, put your hands on that lady being Danielle, aka his wife. So I think it's very much okay for him to have something to say, because you cast the first stone in that situation. Am I making sense? Y'all let me know in the comments. But I just was like, she always got something to say. People that always got something to say, I'm gonna just leave it. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna let you guys fill in the blanks. But people that always got something to say need to be handled a certain way. I'm gonna just leave it at that. So she also tells him about the retreat that Dolores is planning. I think she said her and Dolores are planning for them. And she's basically waiting for Danielle to talk to her first. Like, she's not going into that situation wanting to talk to Danielle. But if Danielle talks to her, aka kisses her ass, then she'll listen. Although she doesn't think that Danielle's capable of that. Yeah, it's actually a good thing that you think that Danielle is capable of that, because if I was Danielle, I wouldn't be capable of that, because I don't ever see me trying to be up in anybody's face and get back good with somebody who assaulted me. Moving on. Dolores and Jim. Who is Jim? Dolores and Jen have a FaceTime call session. This is Jen Fessler. And Dolores tells Jen that she found the perfect house for their little, retreat, women's getaway thingamajig that they're trying to do. It's in the Berkshires, and it's perfect because it has 7 bedrooms and it has 2 bedrooms in the guest house. So she's thinking that she'll just have Teresa and Jennifer Aydin go out there because obviously that's the safest option in this group, or the safest configuration, because at this point, obviously we know that there needs to be some separation between certain people in this group. And so that's where she's, wanting to put everybody. However, do we get there? I'll save that for later on in this recap and review. So she also says that the idea for this trip is for people to respect the friendship that they once had. Not necessarily maybe to 100% make up, but especially for people like Jackie and Margaret that did have a true friendship for years and they were super close at one point. This is a good time for them to try to, conjure up those feelings again. And, because they don't just go away that easily. I will say, even when some of my friendships dissolved, just because the friendship dissolved didn't mean that the feelings just 100% went away right then and there as well. And sometimes you just do need to have those reminders, but that's just regular life. That's kind of how regular life goes. But when you're in the game of Housewives here, sometimes bridges that are burnt just stay burnt. They do. So they're going to bond or throw each other in the fire, followed by some team building activities. And so it's basically going to be a kumbaya, as Dolores said. Okay. Moving right along. We also get another scene with Jen Fessler, or she was just on the phone in the last scene, but we actually see her in person this time because her and Marge actually meet up at a diner, which is Jersey AF. I wish I was at the diner right now. They meet up at a diner to grab a bite and talk and, whatever. And whilst doing so, Marge opens the conversation with saying that Joe still hasn't gone back to do his biopsy. She's been trying to, keep her wits about herself and everything, but Jen does kind of call her a hypochondriac. So that's how they start the conversation. But then it quickly segues on over to Teresa. So Jen tells Marge that Teresa is going to have all the ladies over at her house on this upcoming Thursday, and she's going to have, some of the other ladies, and she's going to basically go over the court findings pertaining to Margaret with her lawyer. This is actually one of my favorite scenes in the show as well, and I will expound upon that in just a second here. So Marge is like, these people lie incessantly. They lie. And that's not to exclude her lawyer, aka the same lawyer that she had when she went to jail 9 years ago, aka the same lawyer that has a office by the meth clinic down in AC. Whereas my lawyer, he has his office on Madison Avenue. So we already are 2 different people just based on that. But who's to say that he wouldn't lie for you, seeing as though, you guys go back so far in life? Just saying. So Marge is really turned off by that. And she also is turned off by the fact that not only is Jen Fessler been invited, but Danielle, Jen Aydin, Jackie, and Dolores are all invited as well. So she's like, bet, okay. It's not even about the bad things that are being said to me as much as it's about people showing up to a dinner party, essentially, to talk mess about me. And so therefore, Marge decides to call up Dolores and give her an earful, which I have no issues with. I don't have any issues with anybody calling Dolores out for being a fence sitter. I do think that by these ladies showing up, it does kind of show that they're a bit like complicit in what Teresa's trying to do, which is to make Marge look bad and to make herself look good. So especially when Dolores goes on to say that nothing that Teresa can say is going to make her look at Marge differently, but she still needs to hear her out anyway. Huh? Like, I want Dolores to really look back at this season in particular, and I want to know if she can look back at the season and be 100% like content with how she was showing up, because she was showing up as, I can't even call it a flip-flopper as much as I can call it like, there's just certain situations you cannot sit in the middle with, y'all. Certain situations that are based in someone being morally wrong and ethically wrong, like, you got to call a spade a spade. So just because her and Teresa go back so many years and it's her friend and blah, 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 since the sandbox and all that, it doesn't matter, because at this point, you're just making Teresa more delusional. You're not holding her accountable for her actions. And, you know, the same could be said towards Marge or anybody. Like, you can't claim to be somebody's true friend and don't call them out when they're wrong. That's just friendship 101, y'all. Anyway, there was also this little line in here that I really enjoyed because it perfectly summarized why I do like Marge so much. Ain't windmilling for nobody. I'm not saying that. Do I believe, y'all, that Marge may have had some conversations with the ex? Yeah, sure. She probably did. But multiple things can be right at the same time. And will I go as far as to say that I think that she was going to, like, was she was the one leaking the stuff to the blogs or anything like that? Or she was, I think Marge is the type of person that will gather that type of information to hold close to the chest to do things like what she did before a couple episodes ago when she threw Jackie under the bus in real time. I think that's why Marge moves the way she moves sometimes. And I can also say that, yeah, maybe she wanted to get the 411 on him. I don't think that's like wrong to be curious about somebody or to, like, you know, kind of wonder what they had going on or maybe even in the past or whatever. Like, especially when you're already hearing sketchy stuff or it's just appearing kind of odd. I would think that Teresa would have been like okay with that, seeing as though she has been slighted before and she's gone through, you know, so many, you know, trials and tribulations over the years and yada, yada, yada. I would think that she would have been okay with her friends being a bit more protective over her, but I'm sure you guys will not agree with that, you tree huggers, which one of you guys slinked your little up in my comments last week and I had to get you together verbally. So if y'all think that you're about to slink down in my comments and talk to me crazy or just sound downright delusional, we're going to have words. So I'm just saying that. I'm just letting y'all know. That it. Just letting y'all know. You've been warned. we can tussle in those comments, but I'm going to call you out, and more than likely your feelings are going to be hurt more than mine. Just saying. So, but no, Marge was like, or I should say Jen Fessler was like, you know, when you say dinner party, like it's not even really going to be like that from, you know, what I know. I don't even think there's going to be food there. And Marge is like, that's even worse. No food. Like, have some respect. And I was like, where they at? Where they at? Like, oh, I live for that moment because that line right there just shows like I love the comebacks. I love someone that can just, you know, if you want to sock it to me, like you give it to me good, or otherwise don't come at all. Like if you're gonna come for me, you better like really come for me, because if not, why even bother? Like, hang it up. It's me. You win. Or I win. You lose. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. If y'all know where I got that from, let me know in my comments below. I want to know if you guys know where I got that from. Anyway, but I'm just saying that to say, like, if you're going to do this, do it right then. Because, honey, I can always respect somebody that, and that's why I like Caroline Stanberry so much on, if you guys watch The Real Housewives of Dubai, I like her so much because at least she stands and stuff. And, you know, she can, I respect her effort. If it's an honest effort, I got to give credit where credit's due. I got to call a spade a spade. And even if I don't like somebody, I can still give them their kudos when kudos are due. It's kind of like what I took from that. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there so that for those that don't know why I like Marge or what I see in her or whatever, it's because of moments like this when she says stuff like that, and moments like when she threw Jackie under the bus in real time, like I said before. But so then she gets off, or I shouldn't even say she gets off the phone. Before she gets off the phone, Marge is like, you know, she's really disappointed in anyone that decides to go to something and engage in negativity against her, because in life there just comes a point where you just got to do the right thing. And that's again why I say what I say when I say that Dolores needs to hop her ass up off that fence and pick a side. Like, this is not a situation that you could just, that's like me knowing that this friend broke into this friend's house and I'm just sitting in the middle like, well, you guys are both my friends. So no, you shouldn't have broken into this friend's house. Like, get it together. Apologize. Give her diamonds back. I don't know, whatever. Like, that's just, you know, whatever, a childish example. But nonetheless, the principle is still the principle. You can't, you know, I feel like it's worse to be a fence sitter than it is to actually choose the wrong side. I'd rather you just choose the wrong side and say, hey, I want to be friends with, I go up for Teresa as much as I do because, you know, I known her longer. Okay, cool. Then fine, whatever. Then you guys can both go be, you know, delusional or whatever. That's fine. But it's the sitting on the fence thing that I just can't do. Like, I can't. Anyway. Because it's like you're gaslighting yourself, because deep down inside, you know what you see. You know what you see, but you're still sitting there saying the opposite. Whatever. And then Marge calls Danielle to give her a bit of her 2 cents as well. And Danielle's like, look, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea what she's going to say. You know, stuff happened with the court case with Louis and all that. She wants to tell us about it. That's all I know. She doesn't really give too much to Danielle. But after the calls, Jen kind of had a revelation, and she's like, you know, it didn't really sound too bad when Teresa was breaking it down at first, but after being presented with it like this, it sounds pretty bad. And, you know, I'm just going to text her and tell her I can't come. And she does text her. And this is when I can kind of start to, I know you guys are, come for me in my comments. That's fine. Because I did have all the smoke for Jen Fessler. And I think rightfully so, though, up until this point. But her saying like, yeah, that's not cool. Like, I don't need to be there. Like, I think that's the real show of friendship. Not to, choose this side and not saying everybody, no, like, yeah, I choose Margaret's side or else I'm going to hate you. No, nothing like that. But I feel like Jen really looked at the bigger picture here and is like, no, that's not right. Because one, what is this lady going to tell us that, or I shouldn't even say this lady, what is her attorney going to tell us that we don't already know? Why do we need to know? Because just a couple episodes ago, Dolores was saying how she wanted to stay out of it and she didn't want to know this and she didn't want to know that and whatever. But then now you're going to go sit down with the attorney? Like, it's either stay out of it or stay all the way in it. Like, you can't have both. Just saying. Moving on, though. It's now the guys' night. We pop over to the Gorgas. And first, did y'all see those steaks? And that fresh lobster. And by fresh, I mean alive still. They had bone marrow, which my husband would love, and just so much more. Of course, they had alcohol galore. But we find out that Nate and Evan can't make it. Joe B shows up first, followed by Frank, John Fuda, and Jeff Fessler also is going to be coming in too. Y'all, why did John Fuda show up in pajamas? John literally showed up in pajamas, and Joe B goes, wait, are those your fathers? Ooh, I'm not lying. That really did make me laugh out loud. That made me laugh out loud because I almost forgot. Like, I actually forgot just how just weird that was when Louis said that. Yeah, I wear your father's pajamas to make your nieces and feel safe at night, or however he fucking put it. Like, that is so weird. Like, who says that? Like, and it's like Joe's probably feeling like, okay, I don't know whether to punch this guy in the face or back away slowly, because that's a different type of unhinged person. Like, I can deal with certain types of crazy, but Louis' type of crazy, aka, ooh, my fingers can't find it fast enough. Where we at? This, aka this type of crazy. No, ma'am. No, man. I ain't got it to do. Absolutely not. But let me jump off his neck real quick. So John, he showed up in the PJs, and he's like, I'm just trying to take a page out of your brother-in-law's book. And, I just want you to feel secure. I'm just trying to make you feel secure, Joe. I thought that was really funny. And that's why so many people love to see the house husbands over here, because it's all laughs. It's all very much like adult broness. They're always, busting each other's chops and stuff like that. And it is funny to watch. It really is. Sometimes it can be like, okay, who cares? But this was funny. Meanwhile, over at Louis and Teresa's, was kind of like a snooze fest, a little bit. I know, don't get me wrong, y'all. I am a Gemini in every sense of the word when I say that, like, yeah, sometimes I do want to go over here with the turn up, and then sometimes I do want to just do like a chill. We could have a chill girls' night, do a little activity. They ain't gotta yell and scream and get drunk or anything. I don't get drunk. I'm not a drinker, y'all. If y'all didn't know, I don't really partake in drinking. Maybe like once a year, if that. I've never been a drinker. So I don't think that's odd, but it just did kind of seem a little boring, especially when you're like both on the show having a guys' night, and it's basically like your side versus my side versus y'all go over there versus y'all come over here. I did find it kind of like, okay, so this is what we're doing. But what I also was confused about, and I'm like, oh, so yeah, Louis, you are actually very delusional as well, because Louis starts telling his dad about the night's festivities, and by the festivities, I mean he's also, or I shouldn't say festivities. He's filling his dad in on the night's festivities. And by filling in, I mean he's also lying, because he goes on to say, I just want to have an easy night. We all work so hard, like Bill, Paulie, myself.
Lies, the lies, the lies, the lies, the lies.
I don't know. Oh, I don't know what my other one is, but y'all get the point. Or, is this one better?
Ha ha, laugh, funny. That's funny? To me, it's funny. Yeah, do you have a sense of humor? Ha ha, laugh.
Oh, no.
Who had been saying that? Who said that? Who said that? Who said that?
Those are all my reactions, y'all, because... Okay. Bill, we already said earlier in the episode. Yeah, of course. He's a plastic surgeon. He'd be in surgery for hours. Got that. That's cool. Whatever. Paulie, even though Johnny's, aka BarbMeetsWorld's jury is still out on Mr. Bill over here, or Mr. Paulie over here, because still not understanding why he was going so hard wanting Dolores to get in business with him. Still find that kind of sketchy. But apparently, I mean, his house is nice. People do have nice houses sometimes and are broke. But I will give him the benefit of the doubt in this situation and say he got money or an income or a job, however you want to put it. He has one somewhere, somehow, whatever. But Louis, you talking about you work so hard. What the fuck job do you have? Because we still don't know what you do for a living, sir. I'm like, you gonna lie straight to your dad's face? He probably knows you're a liar. You're his son at the end of the day. So he was probably looking at you like, damn, I done raised a liar. Punch in the air. I'm on one. I am on one tonight. Anyway. So, but yeah, he's telling his dad all these lies. And Teresa interrupts. She interrupts to tell Louis that Jen Fessler's not going to be coming to their little attorney meeting, whatever you want to call it, on Thursday, because Marge must have talked her out of it. Although she's not trying to bash Marge. She's just trying to disclose facts, like nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, okay. And she also says that the courts ruled in Louis' favor. So I guess, weight has been lifted off her shoulders, whatever. Anyway, so at this time over at Joe Gorga's house, though, Marge calls Joe B to let him know what Jen Fessler just told her, which I don't need to reiterate. We already know what they talked about during their meetup. And Marge is going off. She says how Dolores told her that Teresa, they acquired this attorney for $400,000. Not this attorney, but they acquired their attorney for the current case for $400,000, which of course is super comical to Joe based on his reaction, at least in my opinion. He called bullshit on that. And John Fuda also calls out Louis for being a deflector. And I'm like, that's a really good point. And I think we see that a lot. That's a common characteristic and a common action that we see amongst not even just this franchise. I'm talking across the board, y'all. Where these housewives, house husbands, however you want to put it, they freaking instead of spilling their own tea, or instead of allowing the spotlight to illuminate them, they would rather tell somebody else's business. They would rather talk about you and your business all season, only for it to come out later on once the season's wrapped that you had this, and that going on. Hey, shout outs to Robin Dixon. Anyway, so I definitely see Louis falling into that category, being as though, as Joe said later on the episode, like, you're 49 years old and you got, this what are Louis' charges? He has a restraining order and a lot of something else going on too. Yeah, I do find that kind of odd that we're not talking. Yeah, we clearly there's something there to talk about. So word is that, you know, you sue her, she sues you, you like, you got all this going on, yet you lead with everybody else's shit. You lead with looking up stuff on this person or starting fires over here. Like, I can never respect anybody that moves like that. Sorry, I just can't. But anyway, Frank and Jeff eventually show up. They start having fun. So good. And once again, the food over at Joe's house looked amazing. The food that was at Louis' house, I mean, it didn't look bad, but it just looked like a regular, you know, Sunday dinner, whatever. Frank tells the men that he was invited to Louis as well, which is interesting. I have heard that Frank has been online lately, seeming to kind of support Louis and Teresa more than like Joe and Melissa. So I don't know what's going on there. But that's just what I've heard. Y'all let me know whether that's true or false in the comments. What else? Anything else happen significant in this scene? Frank did deflect though in this moment when he because Joe asked him if he thinks that Louis is a scumbag or whatever, and Frank definitely did deflect, but I can understand that too. That's where I'm like, okay, I can understand being neutral or just staying out of it. Like, if you do the stay out of it approach from day one, then I can't be mad at that. I can't be mad at that. You just remove yourself from the situation. You ain't hearing this side. You ain't getting into it that side. Like, you just stay out of it. That's fine. But not everybody does that. People do get involved in some capacity and then want to break away when it's time to make a decision on who they're backing. Like, whatever. So, y'all, tell me why Louis' big surprise was all of them basically like recording themselves, sending sweet messages or creating sweet messages for their wives and girlfriends or whatever, like, because they're going on a trip soon. So of course Louis kicks it off, and I think I wrote this down. Yeah, Louis made me straight up cringe because once again, y'all, I don't want to get a strike, so I won't play it again. But y'all, Louis already cringy, so of course I was gonna cringe on this. The whole thing was cringy. Ugh, I couldn't take it. Bill's actually seemed like a goddamn joke, if you ask me. And he said something about ever since the kids, and I was like, ever since the kids? Isn't their oldest like grown now, like 18? One or two of their kids is like grown. I know for a fact the oldest daughter is 16. So what I gathered from that is that, yeah, y'all haven't been 100% good since, yeah, y'all had the kids, aka since you cheated, since all that, which only makes it seem more realistic that the reason why you're always coming at Jennifer's neck, the reason why Jennifer Aydin, you're always coming at Melissa's neck is it so far-fetched to believe it's because you're jealous of, you know, their marriage or whatever? You're always bringing up Joe, always trying to throw shade, always got something to say about their marriage or what they got going on. I do feel like in these moments, and Bill, he just be letting it, he just be revealing how Bill reveals how he feels about her and towards their marriage without even purposely like doing it. He does it in a way that, yeah, that gives it up without him even purposely trying to put it out there, because they're opposite in that regard. He don't put it out there directly. She puts everything out there directly. I guess opposites attract, or not in this case, obviously. So, and Paulie's, his recording was just dry. his recording was straight up just dry AF to me. I was like, are you sending this to your girlfriend or like your godmother or godchild or something? Like, it just was not even, are you sending this to your friend? Like, just super dry and unemotional, but whatever. Dolores likes it. I love it. Moving on. So Joe kind of went on a little bit about how Louis been screwing him. I don't know why I put it like that. I did not mean to say it like that, y'all. Joe goes on to say that Louis had screwed him over time and time and time again. And this is when he also calls him out, and it being effing weird that he has this restraining order going on, you know, at 49 years old or whatever. They take some bone marrow shots, which I was like, interesting. I asked my husband if he would be down for that. That's interesting. And but then, y'all, after the bone marrow shots, John Fuda starts to get a little ill. You're not looking so good. So then Joe Gorga begins to rub ice on his face, followed by, you know, him saying like he needs to get Benadryl from Melissa. Then Joe B jumps in and he's like, he's anaphylactic. He's got to go. He kept saying, he's anaphylactic. It's anaphylactic. He's got to go. It's anaphylactic. He's got to go. It's anaphylactic. He's got to go. Like, that's all I kept hearing. Like, I really liked Joe in this scene. It was obvious that he cared about his friend and he was just trying to make sure he got, you know, the proper care and stuff. But it was just funny. I don't know. It was just funny the way that he was being so aggressively like, you gotta go. Stop being like that. Sit down. Like, it really made me laugh how he was acting in this. But that's definitely what John Fuda needed in this scene, because I don't know if it's, some people just don't like doctors. They don't like, you know, hospitals, ambulance. They don't like any of that stuff. I get it. And I can totally understand that. But at the same time, if there is a obvious reason as to why you or if there's an obvious reason as to why you should go, i.e. going into anaphylactic shock, your freaking arm is half severed off, you just got hit by a bus, like, there's a lot of reasons why sometimes you just gotta just put that to the side and go. Because before we knew it, his lips were like swelling up and the whole nine. And it's just like, imagine if you didn't go. But the production steps in, Melissa comes down, and in the end, they, you know, check his vitals or blood pressure, I want to say. And they find out that, you know, they clear him and everything. And when I say they did something I was like, that is definitely a Jersey thing that my family would do as well. And Joe is like, hey, you know, some paramedics or whatever. He's like, hey, make sure y'all want to eat, y'all want to plate or whatever, you know, invites them to dinner. And a couple of them actually do. And I was just like, see, I love it. I freaking love it. Because that is definitely something I would do too. Like, well, while you're here, you bought some food. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of like what you do. I don't know. Anyway, when you're like a super hospitable person, I guess. I like to host. I like being hospitable. So that is definitely something I would have done. Especially when someone does a service for me or whatever, even if it is their job. I don't know. I just like to do stuff like that. Anyway. So at this point, we find out that Dolores, or it's the next day, right? Dolores lets us know, as well as Polly know, that the house that she got in the Berkshires, the 7 bedrooms, guest house, the whole thing, everything. Yeah, the house burned down to the ground in a fire. And if that ain't a sign, y'all, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. And Polly even said that. He's like, you know, well, that's kind of a sign, right? And she's like, Well, definitely won't, find another house like that for sure. So it's looking like we're not going, which is why I never really gave it much thought, because we know that wasn't happening. We know how this season ends and all that. So we don't even need to get into all of that. But she's like, well, maybe it's, an omen after what happened yesterday with Jen Fessler. And she's referring to when Jen Fessler told Marge about Teresa's plans. And again, Dolores goes right into her Switzerland bag. And she's talking about how she, as I said before, needs to hear both sides out. And, she's friends with both of them and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm not going to beat a dead horse at this point, y'all. You guys already obviously know, if you've made it into this video by now, you already know how I feel about her playing a fence sitter right now. So I don't even need to get back into that. But that's what she discussed with Polly. And he also informs her about how his night went over at Louis and Teresa's, and tells her how they recorded the videos and stuff. And she's like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, I want to see the video. Like, show me the video. And then they started to talk about how, like, love softens you or whatever. And she was like, yeah, because basically the way that Marge came at her the day before, she would have typically been on the phone with the person acting like she's at home, only to then show up at their house with the, and did what she had to do from there. AKA, like, she doesn't take disrespect lightly, and that would have been taken as disrespect. Someone jumping on her phone, giving her an earful about, her actions or whatever. I was like, go on ahead, Dolores from Patterson. Whatever, who cares? Anyway, moving on. So here we go with this damn attorney meeting. Y'all, I'm not even going to hold you. Nothing that was said was anything new, at least to me. It was not any like major revelations that were just like, oh my goodness, that made me just my jaw drop. None of it. Absolutely none of it. Danielle, once again, as I said before, she was unaware as to what the hell was going on. Jackie was just happy to be invited, because we know that she's just happy to be invited anywhere. She just wants to be in the mix. And Dolores walks her middle ass inside, and she's talking about how she needs the Teresa back that she knows or whatever. And I'm just like, well, maybe you could have helped Aydin that if you would, again, stop blowing smoke up her ass and actually tell her the damn truth, Dolores. Like, my God. Someone who I do want to give kudos to in this moment is Danielle. And y'all can call me childish, you can look at me crazy, you can call me whatever you want. But what I will say is she was being very mature in this situation, because a lot of people I know, and maybe me in a past life, would have definitely pulled it on sight when it came to Jennifer. But she didn't. She came, sat down. They didn't say anything nasty towards one another. There was no, there was no nothing. There was no drama. Everybody came to actually support Teresa with this. I will say that. But I'm not surprised, because it's never about people not supporting Teresa. It's always about, at least in my opinion, from my perspective, it's always about Teresa not supporting others. Just saying. Gia's also there. Okay. I'm not even going to, because I'm exhausted with this season at this point. So I'm not even going to get into all of that, why Gia was there, whatever. So this attorney says that back in 2021, or I'm skipping, Louis has someone from his past that causes issues in his present life. And back in 2021, they got info that the they couldn't say the word ex, but we know that's who they're talking about. The ex and Marge were talking, which led to her being subpoenaed, which she was like, I'm not going to, Marge, that is. And based on the music that they were playing, I took it as though the bomb that was supposed to be dropped during this scene was when I think it was Teresa that jumped in at this point to say that his ex was planning to expose Louis and Teresa based on the information that was provided, or Marge planned on exposing them based on the information that was provided by the ex. Okay. And since neither her or Louis can talk about each other, clearly Marge gets her information from the ex. I'm making that face because none of that, like, I wasn't blown away. I was still firmly seated on my chase lounge. Just saying. So this is probably the only part where I can let my foot up, my baby toe up off of Dolores's neck, because she also says what I just said, which is this was not a jaw-dropping revelation, Teresa. Actually, last time I checked, you've been thinking this for years. So, like, what are we here for? Like, I would have been eating that food. I would have been texting on my phone. I would have been picking my nail, filing my nails. This would have been me at that table. Like, y'all, basically I would have been doing everything but listening, because none of that was necessary to be said. Like, none of that was surprising. Nobody gave a anyway. Why are we here? Why are we here? Please. Yeah, if I didn't already have reasons and somehow I was delusional enough to still be sniffing up under Teresa's ass by now, we definitely would have been done as friends after this, because you called me here on a Thursday morning to tell me nothing new when I didn't even ask for this information. This is your life, bitch. Bye. Anyway, Danielle turns to Jackie and she's like, do you know any of this? Like, because, you know, you are the closest to Marge out of everybody here, which that's actually what Teresa says. Or she doesn't even say that. She says, Jackie, you know, who knows the most? Jackie would be the only one who knows the most. Like, I don't know why she said it like that. Anyway. And Jackie flat out says Marge never told her about talking to the ex. And also got to lift my baby toe off of Jackie's neck at this point, because she didn't say anything crazy. She wasn't really getting too much in the mix of stuff. But of course, we all know that this is an edited show, nonetheless. So just keep that in mind. But Jackie did not piss me off in this scene. I will say that. And I also appreciated how in her confessional, Danielle reveals that, or basically I should say, a light bulb had went off in Danielle's head, where she's like, wow, it's crazy because, you know, and because I think it was after even Jen had said that Marge had an issue with her talking to Laura all those months, only for, you know, then her to turn around and do something like this, like she's a hypocrite. And that's when Danielle was like, light bulb, ding, 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 because Jennifer, you're saying that right now, but at the same time, you were the same person that is then saying that you were basically only friends with Laura to gather information about Marge or, you know, whoever, whatever, just to gather dirt. And not to mention the whole Bo Dietl of it all and how he like did a smear campaign or whatever. And then we pan to a snippet of last season's reunion. So it's just mighty. This kind of backfired, in my opinion. At this moment, I was like, Teresa, you're going so hard trying to make Marge look bad that you're actually making your side of things look crazy as well. Because that's my thing here, y'all. Fine. Again, like I said before, has Marge probably said some things or talked to the ex or did her fair share of dirt? Yes. But anybody who's sitting there saying that Marge is the only person wrong here and Teresa and Louis, I should say, are not also two people that have played their hand in this whole thing as well is completely basura, in my opinion. Because Danielle literally just called it right here. But for some reason, the line is always moving, as shout outs to Candace. And for some reason, the goose is not good for the gander. I don't like that stuff. I don't like double standards. But we end this scene with a beautiful funeral floral bouquet being delivered to Teresa's house. And they're like, oh my God, like, who's that from? It looks like, is that a funeral? Like flowers or whatever. And Teresa goes and opens the door. And she's like, oh, you know, like totally caught off guard. And again, it's this huge, like, it's clearly for a funeral. And it has a note attached, and the note says, Dear Teresa and James, sorry for the loss of your dignity. Love, 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 Marge. Once again, y'all, these are the reasons why I really do enjoy me some Margaret Josephs. It's because of stuff like this, like, like Danielle, we see each other because Danielle was like, if that ain't the most gangster I seen, ooh, honey, yes. And I was like, that was so that was probably even more delicious than her throwing. Okay, I want to know in the comments, do you think that was more delicious than her throwing Jackie under the bus with Dolores? Or do you guys think that this was more gangster, savage, however you want to put it, the better move in the game of the Housewives? Of course, Teresa's like, get that out of here, get it off my property, pissed. I'm like, you made it too easy. You told her time, place, like how could she not? Oh my God, like literally chef's kiss, so delicious. I lived. Housewives gold, yo. Like Marge had some banging. She shenaned this season. She shenaned as in shenanigans. She did that. She did the damn thing with that one. But for some reason, Teresa still thinks that Marge is squirming. Don't know why. Don't really care. Again, y'all, as I said in the beginning of the video, next week is the season finale. So we're going to be back here to talk about that as we have the previous 12 episodes at this point. I enjoyed giving you guys my commentary on this week's episode. Please, once more, do not forget to hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscription button. If you have thoughts, opinions on my commentary or the episode or the season as a whole, drop down in those comments and let me know how you guys feel about that. Don't forget to share me with your people, y'all. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.